Oh.
Bring it on. Want some, get some. Can I get a hell yeah? Yes, I am a pirate. You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything. It's a pirate's life for me. Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're pirate.
It is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. When you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
You live with Omaha? I can promise you that. And it's purple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down of my soul, and I don't back down not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome in to the Sports Objective. It's Sunday night, which means it's extra innings. And, there's a song back in the day that said the Shirelles, my mama said there will be days like this, my mama said. And I think that's I just thought of that right when we're coming on. Welcome in to Kyle from LaGrange Barber. You all right, dude?
Hopefully. Anyway, the baseball series this weekend sucked. 1-2 on the road. Did not need this to happen, to state the obvious. UAB loses this weekend. You had a chance to take farm control of first place, and you play horrible today. Yesterday, you had every opportunity. The pitching did their job, and we just don't get it done. We have no ability when things go the least bit against us. We can beat anybody in the country if we jump out on them. But if things go the least bit against us, this team folds like whatever analogy you want to use, something cheap. We have no fight. We have no ability when we get down to fight back. It is not a trait of Cliff Godwin baseball teams over the years. It's not a trait of Pirates. It quite frankly disgusts me. I don't have much tolerance for a bunch of people that don't have any fight in them. And this team seems to not have any fight. I can't even call them Pirates because they don't have any fight. And I'm challenging them. When you things ain't going to go away, boys and girls. You've been playing baseball for a long time. This ain't your first year playing baseball. Things ain't going to go your way the whole game, every game. And when things don't go your way, quit panicking. Trust your skills. Trust your coaching. Go out there and make fucking plays. I mean, it's pathetic. This is Memphis. This ain't some great program. And we sit there, and anytime the least little thing goes against us, we fold. And it's really starting to disgust me. I don't mind losing. Losing is one thing, but just seeing you if somebody can come up, and I'm sure there's a game or two this year we've played from behind and won.
Charlotte,
there you go. But it just seems like if we don't jump on, we can beat anybody in the country if we jump on them. But if they get up on us, it's ball game. We have no ability to fight. None. And it's all mental. It's not skills, and these guys aren't trusting themselves.
That's correct, Lowe's. We bring in Alan Vick. Alan, we'll get to the rest of the guys. Obviously, bringing Alan Vick in, and Alan, you and I have watched a lot of baseball with the Pirates, and it hurts to think that we haven't lost to them since 2015. And the fact that I know they're playing better, I know it was home, but just like Kyle said, I'm not trying to pile up on any. My question to the whole panel, and we're gonna get to everybody. But Alan, is it me or is the quality? I'll ask all of you, and we'll start with Alan. The quality of at bats is my issue, and
I said before we went on the air, and I'll stick to this. This may be the most consistently inconsistent Pirate baseball team under Cliff Godwin. I don't know what to say. This team, like I said, could beat anybody in the country. They've got the talent, and then they turn around and they could poop the bed just as fast. So I mean, everybody's frustrated. I still believe in them. I still believe they could, do great things this year. But I also am a realist that if things don't go the way they whatever, they could wind up going down to Clearwater and going home early. So everything is on the table at this point.
I'm going to bring in now a man of reason, Commissioner Stevie Fly from the great town of Lasker, North Carolina. And Stevie, what do you think about the quality at bats right now, bro?
I mean, you remember, was it JR? Was it against Charlotte? We were talking about how they worked on the at bats, and we said they needed to, whatever they were doing that week, they needed to do that. Keep doing that.
And I noticed Coach Cottrell was like, it just seemed to me like he was like really taking the effort to get with every batter and before they go to the on deck circle, and just to tell them, what to look for. And I don't know. I thought it was a working formula that was paying, dividends.
I did too. I'm just like you, but I'm like Alan. If these guys don't wake up, they go to the conference tournament, they may be coming home early. If they keep playing the way they have, especially this weekend. I mean, talking back and forth with Kyle all weekend about the games, it's just, I'm like Alan too. Alan's made really good points tonight. Alan, I'm gonna give you your kudos tonight. Talking about being consistently inconsistent. This is not like the ECU baseball teams in years past that we have seen, where you knew if they could get on and these guys could get on a hot streak and win the last 7 or 8 games going to the tournament like that. But the way they're playing right now, I'm not looking for it.
Let's bring in JR because he is Mr. Sunshine. He's Mr. Sunshine.
Yeah, you know what though? I'm going to concede that I've battled with Kyle about this whole notion that they have no fight in them. I'm starting to see his point after today. I mean, I started to see, the same thing. And Dave, I kind of fought you on quality at bats because, I mean, we have had some tremendous hitting games and we get them in bunches. But again, I said it before, there's average to below average pitchers that just learn how to shut us down. That happened again today. I mean, that dude, I think Seth Gardner, his ERA was 8.29, and he pitched, 4 innings of masterful baseball against his team, because I have a feeling that Kyle has a point that it's not that they can't do it, but when they're behind, they put extra pressure on themselves. Yes. And the game ended with the strikeout looking, and I hate that. Gosh, but here's the thing. 2 consecutive losses, 2 consecutive games, we've had 3 walks and 10 strikeouts at the plate. I mean, that you can't win like that. You cannot win like that.
No, and that's bad at bats. That's what Dave was saying, and whether they have fight mentally or not, maybe they do. Maybe they're putting too much pressure on themselves. But whatever it is showing up is once they get down, they don't trust themselves. Yep. They do not trust themselves. They just execute. Just go out there and execute. Do what you did. When you're 10-run rolling teams, and we said last week, we went 4-0, and this team looked like we were up to number 28 in the RPI. Saying, "Good God, can we get in the hosting conversation?" And then this week, get blown out by State, lose 2 at Memphis, and you're back to, are we going to make the regionals? I mean, this is insane. This is the most hot and cold baseball team you've ever seen, and now Rice, they're red hot coming in. Did they sweep UAB this weekend? So now they're going to be red hot coming to Greenville. We don't have a midweek game, which is good. To me, it is. Some people may disagree. You want to get the taste out your mouth. I think with our pitching situation, the less games we play, the better. But we need to at bats practice this week. I mean, we need to sweep Rice this weekend. I mean, if we want to not be in a situation where we're having to win the conference tournament, at worst, we need to go. In my opinion, we need to go 6-1 down the stretch. Now, maybe 5-2 will do it with a win or 2 in the conference tournament. But I really think, for me to feel good about it, 6-1 would put us at what?
6 will be
35 wins.
20, 35 and 20.
Yeah, I mean, we had a chance to get to 30 wins this weekend. That's just so annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting pretty close. We're getting. I mean,
31.
I tell you what, unless we just win out, we're going. You know, we maybe won't. We'll know come conference tournament what we have to do, but I don't see us. I don't see us at least needing to win a game in the conference tournament, and we may have to win the whole damn thing. That story will be told these next 2 weekends.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
that's
we
the
haven't won a home. We haven't won an away series since March of last season. Strangely
That's
enough,
pathetic.
it was against Rice in March of last year. But Rice is trying to get a bye in this tournament. They're right there, so these games are important to them as well.
I love this. By the way, guys, I'm old school in a lot of things, but I have to say that I really love this new format because it's made the American Conference games in the race a lot more interesting because of that very reason, Johnny. I was thinking about that watching the game today, and my dad always says it. He said it again today. He said it's not our day. I said, I know, like everything. The guy that runs, was it left fielder that ran up, put up his hands, and the ball comes over his shoulder. He catches the ball. Not excuses, just like again talking about quality of bat. So I want to put something up that has been a lot of the scuttlebutt. So when coaches like getting mad at everybody, this is, our people, our viewers, our listeners are upset. So I'm going to put this up here from Kenny, our buddy Kenny. Sorry for noticing, but the bunt game with a potential big inning is crap. Don't care what Cliff says.
I don't.
You talking
I
about
agree with Kenny.
Saturday.
Yeah. I don't. There is time. I love small ball, and there's times to utilize it. Yesterday was not it. It's just and then bunting in the 8th late in the game, and with 2 outs, and it's just.
Well, that was Braden, and then Davin popped one up earlier, and Davin's just. And he's our best hitter. And I don't know.
Neither team could bunt. I mean, this was not a great bunting exhibition at all this entire weekend. It was terrible.
We need to work on bunting this week. We need to work on 2-strike hitting this week. We need to be more selective at our pitches also. We need to look at, are we hitting for a purpose, or are we just swinging to swing? Are we looking to place a ball somewhere? Are we looking at what pitches are? Foul balls off until you get the ball you want to hit. I mean, we're not being selective.
Yep. I heard the guy on TV several times. Well, he tried to put it in left field because there's a gap or whatever. I never have been I'm not a baseball connoisseur at all. I know nothing, but I say you hit the damn ball wherever you can hit it, however you can hit it, and don't try to place it. I think we do too much of that. I do.
Well, I agree and I disagree. I think there's times where you got to look at where they are on the field and try to place it there. And there's certain pitchers that you hit a different way. And then you got batters, what's your pitch? What's your hit? Work, swing at your ball. I mean, don't just – I think, Al, we got 2 different philosophies there. You're just saying swing. I think they're doing too much of that. Yeah, they're trying to place the ball too much, but they're swinging at bad pitches. There's times where we've swung at some bad or just sat there and took strike 3 when we shouldn't. It was bad at bats this weekend.
Yeah. So, when we had bases loaded with 1 out and then struck out 2 consecutive times, they answered with 3 runs. And then after that, in the 4th inning, no hits. 5th inning, no hits. I'm talking about our offense. We didn't get a hit in the 4th.
Yeah, they gave up at that point. They gave up.
We had finally AI hit a single, and then immediately it was wiped out by a double play.
Yeah.
It was just, and then we didn't have any hits in the 8th. I mean, it wasn't until the 9th inning when it really didn't matter, and they had the gas can in there that we put a few hits together. And here's the other thing. Let me just close with this, Kyle. We scored 7 runs Saturday and Sunday. 1 of them was earned. The other 6 were the result of an error. They were unearned runs, and the only run that wasn't unearned was when Nick got on base, and that was an error on their 3rd baseman. So the runner was already on base, so that counted as an earned run, but really that wouldn't have scored without an error. So really we produced 0 runs without their help. That's terrible.
Anytime anything doesn't go right for this team, it snowballs. Go back to Tuesday night against the Wolfpack. We had the bases loaded with 0 outs, come away with 0 runs in that inning, and we fall apart after that. No, we got 2 walks, scored 2 runs on walks, left the bases loaded. It was still no outs at that point. Left the bases loaded, and we fell apart after that. This game, you have the bases loaded, 1 out. We strike out 2 straight guys after that, and we fell apart after that. And I called it. I texted in the text group when that happened. I said, "There's the ball game. We're about to get our asses kicked," or something to that effect. Because it's the same story, different day. As soon as things don't go our way, we have an opportunity. If we don't produce when there's an opportunity for a big inning, if we have the bases loaded, 1 out, bases loaded, no out, if we don't produce in those situations, we get in our head. If we produce in those situations, we'll keep hot and we'll stay hot and we'll blow people out. But when those situations happen in games, bases loaded, no outs, bases loaded, 1 out, 2 on, no out, whatever. If we don't produce in those situations, we fall apart.
100%. That's the thing, guys, is that I've said this before, and I'm sure the people in Greenville may get mad, but my frustration is we know deep down, all of us on this panel and people in Pirate Nation know this team is better than the way they played. In other words, if I felt like, this is my thing, if I felt like there was a talent deficiency, like we just don't have it, then that's one thing, right? You say, well, guys, they're doing the best that we can. We just don't have enough this, that, and the other. But this year, the reason I've been frustrated is I feel like, I think, was it Alan? I don't want to throw you under the bus if you said it, but it's like we've definitely underachieved. And that's the frustration. I don't believe that it's fair. I will say this to be fair to Cliff and everyone. I don't think it's right for the keyboard warriors that this same group of people were happy last week, we can go 4-0. And then this week they talk all kinds of trash. Like, are you a fan? Are you a real fan?
Well, I'm talking trash, Dave. I mean, it's just how, if you're talking constructive trash, are you saying you want to fire Cliff, or are you being critical of Cliff?
Right.
It's okay to be critical. It's okay to be critical. It's okay to be critical of calling bunts with 2 outs in the 8th. It's okay to be critical of a team that showed last week they could just beat the brakes off of teams, and then this week look like they couldn't, beat the Bad News Bears. It's okay to be critical of that. It's just, how are you being critical? If you're calling for Cliff's head, shut the hell up, because it makes you look stupid.
It does.
I agree with that.
Dave, we need to point out, though, I'm just going to read these off. I mean, Sean Jenkins is unavailable. Will he return? I don't know. It doesn't look good. Gavin Van Kempen out. Colby Weber. Brett Antolik not available. Gabe Beschloss hasn't been able to pitch at all. And then Nick Moran is pitching, but he's far from healthy. And then on the offensive side, Braxton Trammell, of course. Carlos Hakame hasn't been able to play in weeks, if not months. AP's out. Grady Linehan, our team leader, he's hasn't come back yet, and maybe, I don't know if he will or not. Jack Vogeley, our DH, he's gone. Matt Lashley is not healthy. I'm sorry. His hamstring is still bothering him. So here's what we have on the bench for pinch hitting, pinch running, everything else. Braden Bachman, Alex Boucher, who has a real problem with striking out, and that's why he's not seen any at-bats. He's literally just lost at the plate lately. I don't know, even though the last time he had a hit. And then Blade Carver, who's, he's truly just learning this game at this level. And then Chance Hall, who he's got 3 at-bats, he's had 1 hit, and he's a heck of a pinch runner, and he can play any of the outfield positions. So it's nice to have him, but it's like, that's it. That's all we have.
Right.
So we gotta think about that too when we're being critical of them. But
yeah, but that same group of guys, destroyed everybody last week.
And Friday night.
So it's, yeah, I agree with you. Why are we so banged up? And do we need? Is there something that needs to be addressed with our baseball conditioning? Is it just one of those years where you're getting a lot of people injured? I mean,
those years.
Or is it the way we're practicing? I mean, I just wonder, with that amount of injuries, is there a reason behind it?
You do wonder if we're just snake bitten, or is there something? You have to wonder with any team that has had that many injuries, whatever sport, it doesn't matter. You have to wonder. It's just unusual amount of injuries, just like really unusual amount of injuries.
I agree, Alan. I'm kind of uncomfortable going there, just like I was last week with the team leader deal. But you have to.
Well, it's okay.
You really have to go
it's
there.
Okay to speculate. You don't want
No,
to say
no.
anything
I'm saying,
definitive.
Kyle, I think we have to speculate because it's just too much. And I could name injuries from the past few years too, pitching wise especially. And it's just I don't get it. It really sucks for us because we never know who's going to be available, who's not, and it's just.
Well, we certainly don't overthrow our pitchers, so that isn't the issue.
Well,
we don't
certainly not with Jenkins. I can tell you that.
We don't wear guys' arms out. I don't know. I don't know. If I don't know, it's all speculation, but you do have to wonder if there's something there.
Yeah. And you also wonder if you do any research, are there any other teams in the country that have dealt with as many injuries as we have? But probably so. But man, it just seems like it's just an unusually large amount of guys that have had injuries this year.
Yeah, I think I don't on that particular subject. I get what you're saying. It's good to question in some respects, but then at the same time, sometimes, we talk about this with any sport, especially football. There's sometimes you're like, oh my God, he didn't go down. Oh man. And then next thing you know, I don't know. It just, for me, I just think it's been a really bad year in that regard. And I think that we're very,
and that may be all it is.
Yeah. And that's probably what it is. Probably.
But, go ahead.
Kenny says we must lead the conference in leaving guys on base.
I have no idea.
JR would be the one. I don't know, but
I'm going to be honest with you, Dave. I missed the first 4 innings of today's game. I listened though, but I missed the first 4 innings because I had something that I had already planned on doing. But I would run those numbers, but I didn't have time to run like any numbers before the show. Right. But I will do that, and I will report back to Kenny on Thursday.
All right, Kenny. Aye, Captain. So that there's just it's one of those things you wonder about chemistry. I think that when you have runners in scoring position and that stat, when you have bases loaded, because with by the way, guys, I heard that we're getting Weber back the conference tournament, and that will be great.
Bring him.
Yeah. Anybody we can get back.
If we could have, if you have, here's my point. If that's true, I'm going to go by what I heard. If that's true, you would have Norby and Weber. And if you could going back to why this double bye is so important with the pitching injuries, especially if we basically need if we get, that'll put us at where we don't have to start playing until Friday with a double bye. Is that right? Off the top of my head,
I'd have to look at the tournament format, but it certainly sounds right.
Yeah, Dave, you're right about that for sure.
So what I'm saying, the point is that all the time before, if we played on Tuesday, you get a day off and all that. Well, now you just skip over to Friday. I mean, this team, and that's why I say,
are we second as of today? Are we still second?
Oh, yeah, but we're comfortably in second, Kyle. Yeah. I don't want to, there's a lot of work to be done, but yeah, right now we're easily
so
second.
UAB getting swept put us comfortably in second because we also go to tiebreaker.
Yeah, that would be a disaster.
Yeah, but we can't.
UAB getting swept since us holding the tiebreaker puts us comfortably in second.
Yeah, we're a game up plus we're technically 2 games up because. We have the tiebreaker. So
all right, yeah, but we need to handle it. We need to put ourselves in position where we're not having to win that conference tournament to make the regionals.
I'm with you, buddy.
We have a chance to win the whole thing, and especially Johnny. That series is at UTSA, right? The UAB that last.
It is indeed. And so like I said before, one of those teams has to lose 2 games. So if we win the rest. But at this point, we're 2 games behind UTSA. So even if we were to tie them, they're going to get first. But at this point,
anything
I hate to say it, I'm happy with second at this point.
Hey, anything can happen as long as we
need to sweep Rice. We haven't won a series on the road, so sweeping Florida Atlantic is a tall task. But you need to win 2 out of 3 down there.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these teams. Charlotte's even playing better. So I think it's just a year. Another thing is there's a lot of parity in the American this year. And for me, I'm like, while it's fun to talk about, and it gives us, Stevie, it gives us something to talk about. If you're a fan, or if you're, like we bleed purple and gold, we're like, let's win the damn thing already, and not have it where we have to wait to the last weekend to find out.
Well, you want parity at the top. You like it with East Carolina, UTSA, and UAB. What you don't like it is when you get bunched up. When you get the Memphises, the Wichita States, the Rices, you don't want you don't want those teams to be capable of beating your top tier teams.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, just to prove your point, because that's an excellent point you just made. So Rice would be the fourth team, which would give them, a single bye, and they're 11-10. And then Wichita State, Florida Atlantic, and Memphis are all 10-11, trying to catch Rice for that spot. But there's also only 8 teams go to this tournament, so 2 get left at home, and there's 3 teams, 8-13, Charlotte, South Florida, and Tulane. So those 3 are, one of those teams is going to be able to go to Clearwater. The other 2, will not. So it's all
It'll be
around.
Tulane, and they'll make it to the finals.
Yeah, we don't want to see Tulane in Clearwater.
I know.
Anybody but Tulane.
We love you, Corey. Nothing personal, but just the 2 teams out there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That Clearwater, and I tell you another thing is that Clearwater tournament is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be great, and especially if we can find a way to win it. And Alan, you and me one day, maybe Kyle, the whole team, we could be out there in Frenchies having a fun time in left field.
I would love to go to Frenchie's and have a good time. That's on my bucket list. At some point, like I told y'all a few weeks ago, I have a friend that goes every year, and he's like, "Hey, come with me. Come with me." My work schedule just hasn't worked out, but I'm going one year because I think that would be a fantastically fun trip.
I love the fact the tournament is down there, and that's a great area. The Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete area is beautiful and lots to do. Bubba mentions, what's up, Bubba? Rowe. Tulane got swept at Charlotte this weekend. That's what I was saying. Charlotte's playing better now. I mean, Charlotte is playing better.
Well, Charlotte's supposed to be pretty good this year. They've achieved big time.
I know. I'm just saying that they're getting hot here late, and maybe, again, stranger things have happened. Maybe if we find a way that we can sweep Rice, that'll be, and Alan talks about it. Alan, are we going to play? You think we're going to play the Campbell series, the Campbell game?
I'd say 60-40 right now. Yes.
So in other words, the only way we would not play it is probably right now. My thinking is, if it rains, we won't make it up.
Yeah, I mean, you never know weather this time of year, what it could be. But I think if the weather is cooperative, I think we will play that game. And hey, Campbell's quietly not had a bad year at all.
No, they just swept. I know they're horrible, but they did sweep North Carolina, AT&T.
You look at their conference record.
No, you had it right the first time. AT&T.
What did he say?
AT&T.
He called them North Carolina AT&T. Campbell just swept.
I can never think. I can never. Was it AT&T or Central that we lost to in football? I can't remember.
A&T.
It was Bill South.
It was A&T. A&T at that time was dominating the HBCU. They had just won the so-called the HBCU national championship. They had gone undefeated, and they came in here and beat us on a Sunday.
Yep, I remember that because I sat in the midst of some A&T fans that day on that beautiful Sunday, and boy, they were
jail.
That was their Super Bowl, for sure.
Yeah, well, and the thing about
Scotty should have been fired on the field that day.
Agreed. Kyle, you remember, Kyle, that was the podcast early on. That was our first year.
Oh, it was our most listened to for a while.
That is the podcast that really we had our podcast in July, and that sort of. And then that A&T, I would say
podcast party is what you're trying to say in July.
Yeah.
The A&T game. Well, it got shared. It went viral because of A&T. They started sharing it on their social medias because we were so over. Me, all of us, me most especially, it was way over the top. I remember after that game, I wanted to. I threw a fit. I mean, y'all should have seen me leaving that stadium. I act like a toddler. It was. I was livid. If you know, if I could have gotten near Scotty Montgomery that day, I don't know. It would have probably not been
I'm
good.
glad that you didn't, because I'm glad that you're still in the podcast. I guess, can you stream podcasts in jail? I don't know.
Maybe if you get a cell phone in there.
Recreation time will allow you to, probably do that. Maybe.
Y'all remember,
we gotta go. I want to go. Hey, Dave, is that archived somewhere?
Yes,
probably. Yeah, on audio format. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
I don't know.
Go ahead, Al.
No, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, we knew that show, after we lost, there were a whole bunch of people listening, and you know how people love football, but, and Kyle's tired of me talking about it, but I wanted him fired in Memphis on the tarmac. When I had the 2017 game, oh my God, the end of that season, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm done. And then when
I was done with him. I remember people thought I was crazy as hell. Season 1 under Scotty Montgomery, when we lost to South Florida in Greenville, I called in Pirate Radio and said, guys, I think we made a mistake. I ended at the end of the season, and I think by the end of this season, you guys are all going to agree. And oh no! And then the Temple game at the end of that season, I said, I guarantee you, next year to start the year, 5-star Lockett, we're going to lose to James Madison.
Yes, you did.
I wanted him gone then. There's certain things, if you know what you're looking at, there's certain things you can just tell that it's not going to get better. And I knew midway through year 1, it was we made a mistake.
Hey,
I knew when we made the hire, quite honestly.
Right. We started 2-0, and he could have run for mayor for a week there.
That South Carolina game.
I know it wasn't going to last.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened that South Carolina game, but Jesus, like in 2016.
To me, that was the beginning of the end for whatever reason. If we had beaten South Carolina and started 3-0, things may have gone a different direction, but we didn't.
Yeah, guys, fumbling the football. I mean, there was like 100. I mean, 100.
The problem is simple. He's fine at game planning. He doesn't practice. He was a horrible practice coach. They didn't practice. They did walkthroughs, and after you got to practice. You got to practice red zone. That's why you turn it over in the red zone. Defense is stiffing up, particularly against the SEC. So you got to practice red zone offense. You got to get in there and be physical, and he wouldn't do it. And as Rick Smith said, hey, you got to do it live. And by the way, we got to get Rick on the show. I talked to Beth. She is a nurse at my surgeon that I've had repeated surgeries with. I'm about to have a third hernia surgery. She's a nurse there, and I talk to Beth every time I go in there. I check in with how Rick's doing, and anytime we want to have him on, she says he's willing to come on. So we need to get Rick up here sometime and talk a little football.
What a super guy! What a super guy!
When he was on Pirate Radio, he says, when you can't run the football and you can't stop the run, you're probably going to lose the game. And I was like, that's as simple, break it down as easy as Sunday morning. And I love that. I'll never forget that when he was on Pirate Radio. But yes, we will get him back on. It's a great idea, Kyle. Definitely love to have him on. And I tell you what, you talk about that we're talking about baseball. We'll go back there now. But it's funny, isn't it? Like when your back is against the wall, and then all of a sudden, like it seems like this team needs to be like Baby and Dirty Dancing. Nobody puts Baby in the corner. Like we got to have it where those guys are going to have to like. What would you do? Like if you.
Stevie, as Dave references Baby, Dirty Dancing, you better not put us in the corner. Stevie, you know what we need?
Johnny?
I said, Stevie, you know what we need? I say, Stevie, you know what we need?
Hold on, Kyle. I was on the phone with my boss, man. What'd you ask me?
Oh, to hell with it. You done messed it. You ruined it now.
What'd you ask?
Dave said we need to be like Baby, and from Dirty Dancing, nobody put us in the corner. And I said, Stevie, you know what we need?
Oh, God, I'm lost on this one now. I know it's Dirty Dancing, but whatever.
No, wrong movie. Wrong movie. It's dancing related. Come on, man. Work with me here.
Reese?
No, Stevie. We need a hero. We need a hero.
Oh, You're holding out for a hero, Kyle.
Hold out for a hero.
I was thinking Footloose. I should have said it.
Yeah, you were. Well, I thought Stevie would get the reference.
I'm sorry. I was a little behind on that. I was distracted by the phone call, so I'm sorry.
Well, it's not okay.
Yeah, we'll have to share the story we were talking about earlier in the week.
Yeah, exactly. Then you don't even get the reference now. My heart.
I know. I'd let you down. I'm sorry.
So we're that's all right. But anyway,
Kyle
we'll share
had
that
a
story in
total
the round.
eclipse of the heart.
We'll share that story in the round table. But no, we.
Oh no! Hey, Alan, while you're on the Bonnie Tyler today, this weekend. Speaking of Bonnie Tyler songs, the first one I remember, 78. It's a Heartache.
How did we get to Bonnie Tyler?
I'm the hero.
Holding out for a hero.
You did the Footloose song.
And then Alan said Total Eclipse of the Heart. And I said, while you're on Bonnie Tyler songs, you might as well go to the back. The first one I remember, I think it was 78, Alan. Was that right?
Correct. Yep.
It's a Heartache.
It's a heartache. Like, it's a heartache. Nothing but a heartache.
Everybody thought it was Rod Stewart when it came out.
Yeah.
Hey,
Dave, since you brought her up, I think my wife
actually.
I think my wife is listening. Hold on, Kyle. And we went out in the country one time, and we went to a field party, and they had a barbershop quartet, and they were like playing, these four dudes were like, they were just doing the barbershop quartet thing, and they were taking requests, and my wife asked them if they knew any Bonnie Tyler, and I'd never laughed so hard in my life.
And that barbershop quartet doing It's a Heartache. I can't imagine that. That would be difficult.
Yeah.
Hey, before we wrap up baseball, we got to give props to Mr. Ryan Towers.
Yes.
He set a season high innings pitched. He pitched 7 innings, a season high strikeouts with 10. His previous was 5, and then a season high with pitches. Before his 84 was his high, and I think he threw 105. And in his last 3 appearances, he's unhittable. 15 innings, 7 hits, 0 earned runs, 4 walks, and 17 strikeouts. So, I mean, if we have him going forward, it makes me and Kyle, like you said, the fact that we don't have a midweek game is huge, and I love it. And it's going to help because Ryan's going to, that we only have to worry about 3 starters instead of 4. And I just feel like Ryan's ready to be one of those guys for sure. So I just wanted to throw that out there because he was amazing on Friday night.
Are we going pitcher of the week with him? I take it.
I have to. There's nobody else.
Yeah.
Well,
what about player of the week?
Ooh. I don't know. Nobody. Alan said consistency. Nobody was really consistent. I mean, Jack's amazing with the fact that he keeps getting on base, and he's doing it a lot through walks. He has 44 walks on the season, which is like 21% of our team walks is Jack's responsible for it. I don't know that anyone's ever done that before, so maybe we give it to Jack just because he's got the streak. He's keeping that thing going, and he's getting on base.
Connor Norby has that record, right?
Yeah.
So he's
and Norby pitched good Saturday for up until the 6th. He
did indeed, but he's not. Yeah, he wasn't. And nobody could touch Ryan as far as pitcher of the week. You're right, Kyle. I thought he did too. He did.
Yeah, you got to get some support from the bats.
That's the kicker right there, Kyle. Is that the very thing of with college, you expect the number to be higher than MLB, and
that's what I feel.
When you have guys score 12 runs on Friday night, and then you can't score. That's the thing that's puzzling to me. And I joked about it on Friday night. I said, should we give 5 or 6 runs to Saturday? Can we move the number of runs there? I know you can't, but it just every time this team this year, when we run rule, I'm like, tomorrow we're going to be able to. That's what I need to see is the fact of you run rule on Friday night, and I think they're pitching. I just don't. That's my thing. Is the hitting is. Something's up there with the hitting. That's my frustration. But
Yeah, Memphis has not got exactly, Nolan Ryan and Roger Clemens there on the mound.
I
So
know.
the fact that we couldn't do anything against them offensively doesn't make a lot of sense.
But we did say, Kyle, we did say on the preview that don't let them have a lead in the 8th
Yep.
or 9th inning because their dude's going to come in and shut us down, and he did in game 2.
Yeah, he did. You're right.
Carson Fair, he came in, but
Yeah, he's good.
other than that,
If
they have nobody.
They made the plays like the guy making the over the shoulder catch. I mean, and just that when it snowballs for us, the other team looks like the 56.
How much is this going on the road? I don't mean to cut you off, Alan. How much is this going on the road? We're not what we used to be, apparently, at least, injuries and from a mental standpoint. And how many of these teams are making this their Super Bowl in conference? I mean, you got to figure because we've dominated so many teams. We're going on the road, or we're going into environments where teams are getting fired up to play us, and we're not a good road team. We are not a good road team at all. As JR mentioned, we haven't won a road series since last March, and
Okay,
that's bad.
but Bubba corrected me. I was looking at road sweeps. We did. Bubba pointed out we did win a road series in April, I think, against UAB last year. So that
Well,
I was 1 month off there. Yeah, but we sucked on the road.
It's been a year. So
yeah,
it's time to focus. It's time to get down and dirty and just beat the hell out of Rice, and win the Campbell game, and then just destroy FAU. And
sure, that'd be great.
Boy, it's come to Jesus meeting time, gentlemen.
Player only.
I'm not a coach. I've never coached anything in my life, but if I was, this would be when I get back to Greenville. It's guys, this is it. We can't. This has got to happen. I mean, I don't know what you do. I mean, because again, I'm not a coach, but if I am a coach and a team leader, this is it. You got to figure out a way to turn this thing around and make it happen now, or you're done.
We're riding the ship.
What you'd like to see is a players only meeting, and they get it squashed out.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd like to see the players take a little initiative to get things done instead of the coach having. Well, the coach is there to do that, but players they've got their role too.
Yep.
And I think Cliff has been accountable. The fact of the matter is, there's not making excuses. The fact of the matter is, I truly believe that Cliff and the coaching staff and everybody is putting them in the position to win. Easy for me to say. The problem is, it comes down to the E word. It comes down to execution, and going back to the at bats. I mean, that's why I say the inconsistency has to be the quality at bats, in my opinion, because in other words, the talent doesn't happen overnight, right? We have the talent. They've just got to do a better job of focusing. And like you were talking about, it may be, Kyle, that they're afraid. When we were talking about with football, with the previous coach, not Blake,
playing tight,
and they're scared to make a mistake. Well, you got to go. It's a game. It's a game. Go out there and have fun.
I see some of it. They definitely freak out when they have opportunities. You can see it happen. When they have opportunities, like a bases loaded opportunity, and they don't produce, they seem to collapse mentally. Now, is that coming from, I don't. Is Cliff putting too much pressure on him? I don't know. Again, I'm not accusing Cliff of that. I'm posing a question. I don't know. With this generation of kids, I think since COVID, things have changed so much, not only from an NIL standpoint, but this generation of kids just I don't know. Maybe this team ain't like that, but they seem to be way more sensitive. So I don't know, and I'm not accusing Cliff of being too hard on a group of guys that maybe can't handle that as well as previous generations. I'm speculating, is that going on? I don't know.
And that's a great point, and I agree. I know every generation like me that's older looks down. This generation is this and that. but you do wonder. The kids today are different. I mean, they just are.
Yeah.
Their world is different. Their everything is so different. You just wonder if it's just
Maybe
different.
coach should just go in there and look at the team and go 6-7 and walk away.
Now, that would be funny. Talk about breaking the ice. I just can't hear Cliff saying that, so that would definitely be funny, Kyle.
Did you hear the TV broadcast? Was it yesterday they were talking about Cliff, and they're like, well, Cliff's a big guy, and he's very intimidating.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, that's
I was like, yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
that sounds kind of sus to me.
It's sick.
It's sick.
Definitely
Look,
sus.
that is not. God, I'm gonna go to Alaska. I'm gonna kick Stevie right in his shin.
There's going to be no podcast that we do from now on where I don't bring sick up at least one time.
Yeah.
Well, we got a sick ass podcast.
Yeah, we do. Sick.
You don't even use it right, Stevie. You don't even.
I do. I'll
Yeah.
use it right.
Yeah, you say it incorrectly. You sound wrong. You just.
Yeah.
You don't have the hip lingo with you.
Kyle.
What up?
Now, Kyle.
What up?
What up?
Now you know, Kyle.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing for you, Stevie, though. You have some mad riz. I'll tell you that right now.
I know.
I
That's
think
what they
his-
call
I think
me,
his-
Mad
I think his-
Riz.
I think his Riz is pretty Ohio.
Ohio?
Ohio.
So let's move.
No cap. No cap. No cap.
Crickets.
Yeah, you guys are doing fine. I'm not in the demographic for this conversation.
Well, skibbity toilet.
Good Lord.
Wow. Yeah. So
What did you just say to me, young man?
Skibbity toilet.
Good toilet.
you guys are talking about the injuries and everything, but also it's good to have a break where I think it's good that we were talking about this earlier too. I want to mention, I think it's good that we don't have the midweek game because mentally you can kind of get yourself back together and know that who are we? We are the Pirates of ECU.
Hey,
We've won.
Heard that before.
No, we've won.
Alan with the hay after we are the Pirates of ECU.
Hey.
I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's a reflex action.
I'm gonna yell purple.
Gold.
Yeah, there you go, purple.
Lilac.
Sick.
Look, no cap. This team really needs to get their Riz on. They're playing very Ohio, and what they need to do is get some sick ass bats going and get their swagger back. And
Chip on the shoulder.
we'd be just peachy keen jelly bean going into the American Conference Series down in Clearwater.
Yeah, because what happened yesterday and today is just whack.
It is whack. It is straight up dank whack.
Johnny, I will add to that. Did you know that a famous singer once said crack is whack?
No.
Whack. It's whack. Bobby.
A famous singer that did her share of crack. Said
Crack is
crack is
whack.
whack. Yes.
Whitney Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Crack. It's whack.
I absolutely love her, but that is probably the biggest story of a singer to have a tragedy, like so tragic when you think about how, not that I didn't even know I was going there with Whitney Houston, but I love Whitney Houston and the fact that, the night that she passed away, she went down to a ballroom and they had her singing, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but they had her singing, it'll come to me in a minute, but she couldn't hit the notes anymore. It was like her voice was so bad. And anyway,
What drug messing with that stuff would do to you?
Yeah, it was I Will Always Love You, but the people were in that ballroom. It was the night before the Grammys. And
It's Clive Davis's party.
Yeah. But she went there and people were saying they felt sorry for her, that's how bad. And, you know, she was one that could kill it. So
it's just a shame to waste that kind of talent.
She had one of the most beautiful voices you ever hear.
Yeah.
no
I mean, but if you really stop and think about it without getting on the subject, just think about the last 20 years in music. Prince, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston,
a whole bunch of Tom
who
Petty.
would have thought that none of those artists would be with us? I mean, it's mind-boggling to think that.
Yeah. Have y'all seen the new Michael Jackson movie, by the way?
No, not yet. I heard good things about it, though.
I want to see it, man. That is making some bank. that movie.
I still haven't seen the Elvis movie, and I'd rather see the Elvis movie.
Speaking of which, they have that on. I saw that you can buy.
So in this new Michael Jackson movie, is it a story about his life?
Pretty much.
I'm guessing, yeah. I don't know, Kyle. Without seeing it, I'm
So
guessing.
did they leave out the parts where he has sex with children?
Oh wow! Now we're gonna get sued.
Hey-oh!
I mean, you know, people just seem to forget that about old MJ now. That you know, unless you just don't believe it happened. Now, if you don't believe it happened, now that's a different story.
I mean, I don't know one way or the other, but there never really has been definitive proof that it did happen.
Right.
I mean, they're just for
yeah,
whatever
I mean,
reason.
but I don't have children come sleep in my bed, you know, for sleepovers.
I mean,
Yeah.
I agree. I totally
agree with you, Kyle.
I think that's a situation. I will say this. I think the reason why there's blurred lines, I think that this is my theory. I don't know. I could be dead wrong. I think Michael Jackson was an adult when he was with the Jackson 5. And then once it was like the reverse, like a case of Benjamin Button. It's the reverse. He was like an adult, and then he became like childlike as time went on.
Well, he
maybe
never
he
had
was forced to be an adult. He never had a childhood.
Right.
He never had a childhood.
So what I'm saying is, like Alan's saying, I can argue both ways, like that it didn't happen, that it did. I think that his mentality was like I said, his dad pushed him to the point, Joe Jackson, not the singer, the dad of Michael Jackson, who he literally pushed them so much that, you know, what was he, 6 or 8 years old when he became a star? I mean, somewhere around, I can't remember the exact.
He was very young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't really have a chance to really be a child. And I'm not making excuses if he did it. And, you know, I'm not making excuses for that.
Joe was a tyrant. And, you know, he was just.
You know, you got people like Macaulay Culkin who says he didn't ever do anything to him. But would he have done something to Macaulay Culkin?
Well, you know what Macaulay Culkin said? He saved him from going to, what was that island? To
Epstein.
Epstein Island.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he sure said it. He sure came out and said it.
Wow.
People that were loyal to Michael, like Macaulay, I mean, they stayed loyal, you know, completely the whole time. So is it weird that he had children? And absolutely inappropriate behavior. But that doesn't mean that was necessarily.
No, there's a big difference between being weird and doing, you know, molesting a child. And that's, you know, we'll never probably ever know.
And that Michael didn't know the difference and didn't realize how wrong it was to, unless he was so childlike that he couldn't see.
He's very
see the difference.
We didn't know the difference in what, Alan? What are you saying?
Well, I mean that it's not correct. That it's not correct or right to have a child in your bed as an adult man, regardless if you never lay a finger on him. There's just especially if it's not your child. I mean, there's just something inherently icky about that.
Well, yeah, I agree. It ain't a good look, but there's still a big difference. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's weird. The whole, I mean, we're talking, I don't know. I've always kind of believed he did it. He did it, but you never know. What I would love all the kids that accused him of it. You'd love to have them on a polygraph. Not that polygraphs are very accurate, but that's the only way you're ever going to find the truth. Is if all of them come out and say nope, never happened. Parents made us do it for money. Right. Otherwise, we're never going to know.
Right. Yeah. And if something like that happens, the kid's old enough, he can say on January the 5th, 1991, this, and this. I mean,
Yeah.
And that's what hasn't happened.
Yeah. Hey, how about his kids? How are they? I mean, I don't know. Are they somewhat normal? I have no idea. I'm not following.
You
That
don't
was a
really see a
limelight.
lot about them.
You were seeing the daughter and
Yeah.
Prince.
and then Prince a little bit. I don't know whatever happened to him.
Blanket.
Blanket. You remember the South Park episode?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson and Blanket. Oh, that's ignorant. Don't be ignorant.
Well, Lisa Marie Presley said when they were married, early in
You're
their
being
marriage,
ignorant, Stevie. Stop being ignorant.
Lisa Marie said they had a normal marriage. They had a normal physical relationship and a normal marriage for a few months there.
Isn't it crazy that the both of them are dead?
Yep.
Lisa, Michael was tragic, and then Lisa Marie with the stomach issues that wound up
I don't
killing
even
her.
think I realized Lisa Marie was dead.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
dead.
Lisa,
she had a heart attack.
She died January of 23, I believe.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She should have talked him she should have talked some sense into him though about all that plastic surgery that it kind of went. I mean, that didn't turn out well for him.
You ever seen the episode of South Park where we were talking about and him and Blanket are playing I Got Your Nose, and Blanket actually grabs his nose and it comes off, and Blanket starts screaming, and Michael Jackson says, "Blanket, you're being ignorant. Don't be ignorant."
I gotta go back.
It's probably my favorite episode of South Park of all time.
He was obviously addicted to plastic surgery.
Yeah, that
Definitely.
he's definitely guilty of, for sure. But I'll
He
tell you,
wanted to be a white woman.
And bleaching himself too. I mean,
I
I heard a comedian say one time, America is the only country where you can be born a poor black child in Gary, Indiana, and grow up to be a rich white woman in California.
Yeah, that was one of the best memes I've ever seen. That was the early days of social media.
And people that are old enough to remember don't remember how big he was. I mean, when Off the Wall came out,
yeah, he was
huge. It was for that 5-6 year period, 79 through 88, 89, so 8-9 year period. He was massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
Oh yeah. Anybody. I mean, I think. Well, I disagree, Alan. I think most people realize that. I hope. I mean, I'm.
He was on
youngest,
everything.
I'm the youngest one on
I'm
the youngest one on the show, and I remember vividly what a huge star he was. I remember the glove. I remember you could buy, you little stupid ass little quarter vending machines. They'd have fake Michael Jackson gloves in there made out of plastic, and it was just everywhere. The moonwalk, wearing the one glove.
You could get them at your proctologist office.
Yeah, it's very similar. It was just, he was just huge. He was huge. He was everywhere. Pepsi commercials. I mean, Michael Jackson. There was not a bigger star in the world in the '80s than Michael Jackson.
And Bad, and to me, Thriller. You're never going to top Thriller, but Bad was a tremendous album.
It was, but it didn't. Like you said, it didn't touch Thriller.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad was like a salesman, like a novelty salesman on the road back during that time, and he brought. I mean, he had a van where he would do the deliveries on, and it was packed full of Michael Jackson stuff, from keychains, everything. He had a box of leftover stuff he gave to me because I had that little phase where I went through the Thriller phase.
Did you ever just take shit and sell it at school, Stevie, from your dad, like the stuff
Yeah,
like
I ran my own little business. I had a little spot off to the side before school that I would sell stuff.
And you had a great Jerry curl too.
Yeah, the Jerry curl. Well, I remember. Look, I remember waking up. I remember waking up in the morning, early one morning.
Only to you, James.
Seeing on the news where Michael Jackson's hair caught on fire, and they would take him to the hospital.
Oh, from the Pepsi
commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't. I was about to. There was a little rhyme we used to do in school, but I was about to do it. But there's a worm. There's a worm. What in the world? There's a word. There's a word in there you can't say anymore. But I remember when he got in the burn at the Pepsi commercial. I'll leave the word out. It used to be Stevie. You remember this? Jr. Dave, you might. But we went. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Michael Jackson
gosh.
can't say that word. Pepsi Cola, burn him up. Now
I
he's drinking
remember
7 Up. Yeah,
Yeah, I do remember.
And he got burned substantially. He got
Yeah, he did.
He got seriously burned. A lot of people trace his painkiller issues
Exactly.
back to that. Yeah, his
And
scalp got burned badly.
I didn't know, guys, that because I really like that Victory. I like that Victory album too with the Jacksons.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently that tour did not sell well, and so they can't.
Well, you know who the promoters were for that tour?
Don King.
Don King, and what's the what's the other guy's name?
Vince McMahon.
No. No. Gosh.
Boxing promoter?
No, he's a political activist, but he's
Jesse Jackson?
Close. What's the other guy?
Sharpton.
Al Sharpton.
Sharpton.
Yeah.
Don King and Al Sharpton.
Otherwise known as the Hair Gang.
And let me tell you, because they had such, the Victory Tour and all that. You remember the R&B group New Edition?
Oh yeah,
sure.
They interviewed Sharpton and King to do their tour, one of their tours, and said that Don King just say that Don King is the greatest ever, and you're gonna sell 1 million tickets to this tour. So they said no, we're gonna go another direction with that, because he was all about it. Just Don King this, Don King that. Wasn't about New Edition. But yeah,
Don King was a self-promoter.
We gave away early in my radio career a Jackson's Victory Tour satin jacket.
Wow.
And you had to be.
I remember the Pepsi cans.
Yeah, Steve.
You had to be caller number 94 because it was 94.3. And
good Lord.
And an ex-employee that worked in the radio business for a couple years and was a complete goofball. I could tell you the story. Won the jacket legitimately. He was caller number 94 and won the jacket.
Nice. Well, good for him, I guess.
Yeah, he won. But that was legit. Remember the big hit off Victory? There were several singles, but the big hit was State of Shock with
Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
Torture was a second single, right?
Torture, Body.
Yeah.
Body
if eBay had been around then, that guy would have had that jacket on eBay like within minutes.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if he still got it. That would be interesting.
Well, he passed away, so I don't know. But he legitimately was. I sat there and watched the phones blink, and he was caller number 94.
Wow.
Who the heck? I mean, was there more than one person taking calls in there?
Yes, there was three. There was 3 incoming telephone lines at that time, and you stood there. Hey, you're caller 1. Hey, you're caller 2. Hey, you're caller 3. Hey, literally. So you got the number 94.
94.
So he could have been. He could have been.
You didn't cheat.
He could have been 22, 51, 83, and 90 for all we know. But yeah.
Or he could have just been 94.
Or he just could have been. That's exactly right.
He just could have took a chance and got 94.
Yeah.
Let me try this thing. 252. Well, you didn't have to rest-rate. You didn't have to do 252 back then.
No,
it was 919 probably back then.
Yeah, it was probably 919.
It was not. You didn't have to dial the
area code.
If you were close, yeah.
Redial.
Oh my God! I used to try to win tickets like that, Stevie.
I still do that crap calling in on pirate radio. You early in the show, you have to hang up and call back about 15 dozen times to get in.
Yeah. So are we done with talking baseball, or did you guys?
I thought we had been done talking baseball. Okay. We've been talking about the career of Michael. You know who my favorite member of the Jackson family is?
Tito?
Alan
Jackson.
Alan Jackson. Yeah.
I like Bo.
Bo
Jackson. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Kyle, you know Tootie's favorite one is, don't you?
Jermaine, you gotta take me, Mrs. You got it. Go.
And people forget and people forget how many hits Jermaine had.
Do y'all remember
He was big.
Are me and Stevie the only two that remember that episode of Facts of Life?
I had forgotten it. I do remember it.
And and Stevie says it, and he knows immediately I'm going to know this crap. But
how about Arnold Jackson's my favorite Jackson.
Who?
Arnold Jackson.
Well, the world
what was the name of the bully?
Hey, that was before the Drummond. Before he changed his name to Drummond.
What was the name of the bully that used to torment Arnold Jackson?
Oh God!
What was
the Bicycle Man?
Dudley's dad.
The Gooch.
The Gooch.
Yeah,
that's right. The
Gooch.
Gooch. Yeah,
yes.
Is that when he brought Mr. T with him?
That was a more than one episode, but yeah, Mr. T did.
Yeah, and we have a county in Virginia called Goochland County, and every time I drive through it, I think of Arnold Jackson.
I hated those. That's one thing I hated about shows back then when they had a two-parter that we continued. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
but the episode we were talking about with Jermaine. So I don't really know what they were trying to prove with the show, but Tootie was.
I don't know what the lesson was supposed to be.
I don't either, but Tootie was obsessed with Jermaine.
She was his fan club president. Remember?
Yeah, locally, yeah.
He tickled her fancy.
And then he's coming to the concert and Tootie.
I got it,
there's some reason I didn't. There's some reason she can't go, and she freaks out like the biggest meltdown you've ever heard.
Gotta go.
And then finally, Mrs. Garrett is like,
"Well, I'll take you."
Yeah, I'll take. Just shut the hell up, Tootie. I don't know.
I could have gone.
She could have just roller skated there, Stevie.
She probably did.
Yeah,
well, Blair.
She had the jelly.
So
she had to bring the jelly bean melters with them, Kyle.
So this is for special. This right here. This is a treat for the listening audience. Is what this is. And I mean, JR, you've never heard this, and Alan, you've never heard this, and Dave, you've never heard this. So this is going to be a treat. So I want everybody to mute their mics, except for Stevie Fly.
No, I'm not doing that, Kyle.
And so Stevie is going to give us his rendition of Mrs. Garrett singing the Facts of Life theme song, the original version.
No, Kyle, I ain't doing
Stevie,
that.
on 3. 1, a 2, a 3.
Look so what you care about the facts of life.
You got to do it. No, we didn't hear the beginning. You got to do it.
I did do it. I did the whole thing.
We didn't hear it at the beginning. You weren't singing loud enough.
I did. That's it. You won't get but one Mrs. Garrett a day.
God damn it. You got to do it like you do it. It's just me and you on the phone.
We're going to have to record it one night, and then we'll have to play it back.
This is the intelligent conversations me and Stevie have.
Oh gosh, if they knew the conversation.
Roundtable. We need to do a roundtable because we're losing listeners and viewers. And also,
that Stevie would have just went ahead and sang.
Well, see what happened, Kyle. When I sang, we started losing people.
No, it was before. But anyway, let's talk about. I want to give a shout out, by the way, to Shane Winkler. The ECU softball coach got his 500th win today. They swept. How about that? They swept the Roadrunners. So, and by the way,
I saw 2 of his players live on TikTok, getting ready for their game the other day. Or they were playing at Tulsa, and they were doing their makeup and their hair as if they were about to go to a prom, and in their softball uniforms. They had a lot of viewers, most of them male, live on TikTok, and I asked them, I said, do you guys think, I don't remember what 2 players I use now, but I used 2 ECU baseball players. And I asked,
baseball players doing makeup?
Huh?
You said baseball players.
Yes, correct. I asked the 2 young ladies, I used 2 baseball player names. And I said, you guys reckon they spend as much time getting ready before their games with their makeup and hair as you guys do? And their response was, they probably should, because they haven't been playing that well lately.
Oh, shot fired.
Wow. Okay. All righty then.
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago. So.
Yeah. So, Yeah, they swept. And by the way, if you're in Greenville this week, we've got the conference tournament. It's going to be played at the Max, so that'll be very. I'm going to be there. And
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right?
Yep,
Johnny
Johnny
played where?
and
Max Joyner.
Oh, at the Max. Okay. Is Zach and Kelly going to be there?
Yeah, I was going to say Zach Moore's going to be there too.
Yep.
Kelly?
Yep.
Are you excited, Kyle? I'm so excited.
If Kelly's going to. I'm so scared.
Oh, man. Alan, are you going to be there?
I may try to catch a game or two. My daughter is graduating college on Thursday,
right.
by the way.
Oh, congratulations!
Yep, getting her master's degree. Yeah, so we'll be in Greensboro Thursday. So I know this is heartbreaking for everybody, but I will not be on the program on the podcast on Thursday. But I shall return a week from tonight.
Does she go to UCG?
Okay.
Yes.
She's a Spartan.
Congratulations to her for being
Thank you, sir. She's like I say, she's got her mama's looks and her mama's brains. Thank God.
Oh,
And remember, Alan, you're supposed to report back to us when you go to Greensboro to see if you can find any purple.
That's right. We're
apparel.
gonna go and look for. Hey, I did it again this weekend. I was in a couple of stores, not a smidge of purple. I'm serious. None. Zero. T-shirt, sweatshirt.
Hey, Alan,
nothing.
you need to start.
Go to City Trends.
You and Kyle could start a business about any kind of like shirts, polos, shirts, any kind of dress shirts, anything that's purple, and polo shirts.
So you're looking for purple shirts that
No,
are
I
not ECU
was
related.
just making a statement. You go to your normal, sporting good outlets, Kohl's, whatever. You don't see much purple clothing. You
mean it's not ECU related?
You don't see much purple anything. It doesn't have.
Well, you
to be
see plenty
ECU.
of purple ECU.
Yeah, well, if you go to UBE and places like that, yeah, obviously. But if you go to Dick's
has a nice selection of ECU stuff. Academy normally really does.
They have an ECU.
No, I think Alan's point is if it's not ECU related, there's no purple anything.
Right.
They have there's no purple
ECU
ECU stuff either.
No,
they have a very cool ECU baseball T-shirt in Dick's Sporting Goods, by the way. I almost bought one. It's pretty neat. Looks pretty good. I love UBE. Man, that's
UBE or is it you?
That's a great store.
James had a question for Alan. Post it up.
I can't hardly see. Somebody's got to read it to me.
Is her mama hot?
It's Jamie hot.
Jamie has lost 52 pounds doing East Carolina weight loss. So, yes, not just because she's my bride, but yes, Jamie is an attractive lady. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
And I'm glad, James. I'm glad you.
Wait a minute. What is Alan supposed to say? No, she's very.
No, James. Yes, my wife is. My wife's not ugly. Okay.
James, I'm proud of you for asking if his wife was hot, not his daughter.
Yeah, James, appreciate it. Thank you for not going there. I appreciate that. My daughter's pretty, and I'm not just saying that my daughter is pretty. I told you she looks like her mama.
Well, it's good. I'm glad she doesn't like you, Alan.
Thank God for small miracles.
Oh my God! Did you guys? Here's a question for you, non-EC related. Did you watch the Kentucky Derby? Do you care?
Nope. I care, but I saw none of it.
I saw the replay of it, and I thought it was pretty cool. Tempo? What is it? I forgot what it. Yeah, come from the back, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, woman trainer has never won the Kentucky Derby, so that was the first on last night. And the thing that gets me is they said they have sold over 100,000 mint juleps, and I'm just jealous. I would like to have 1% of whatever that. I don't even know how much the mint juleps are, but 100,000 mint juleps. I'm like, man, that's a lot. To me,
I didn't watch today or yesterday, but I normally do watch, and I make my own mint juleps.
I don't care about
And,
horse racing.
I got a medal cup and everything.
It's funny to watch a lot of people dress up. They have nothing to do with horse racing or the Kentucky Derby, but they dress up in the hat and all that stuff, and they go to parties locally.
Do you have a hat, Alan?
Not the ones I've seen at Churchill Downs. No.
The guys were wearing the derby hat, like the driving hat.
Yeah,
I saw guys wearing different hats.
Nope.
I love it when Alan talks derby to us.
But they're not nearly as cool. They're not nearly as cool as Kyle's new Cubs hat that he had.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That wasn't just cool.
Actually, I got that hat.
It's sick.
It's sick. It is sick. I got that hat back in October. I just had it on yesterday, so I thought I would share it with you. And on Facebook.
Very, very, very nice. Very
September. I got it at damn at Lids while I was talking to Ty Holmes. I ran into Ty Holmes at Lids, and I bought a Cubs hat. And at some point we need to have Ty on the show. He lives a very interesting life now, working for the SBI, and so he would be an interesting guest to have on.
Do you have a big hat collection, Kyle?
I do. Yeah, I do. Mostly East Carolina hats. If I wouldn't got all the ones from my dad's from the 90s and put it with all the hats I have now, it would be in the hundreds.
Wow.
You could wear a different hat every day for 150
I
days.
could, but you know what? I wear the same damn ECU hat to work every day, and then on the weekend.
And you wear it backwards, I bet.
You are correct. How'd you know that?
Well, I just figured.
I wear my same ECU hat to work. I wear it backwards every day, and then I have a camo ECU hat I typically wear on the weekends, and then I'll switch it up and throw on a Cubs hat every now and then. But I want to know how the hell JR knew I wear that hat backwards.
You're just cool like high school.
I can't reveal. I have
Cool as ice, Kyle. You're cool as ice.
No, there's got to be a reason he knows I wear my hat backwards at work. That is weird.
Yeah, I know somebody that works there, but I don't want to disclose who it is.
Oh, he's got a
then
inside source.
Who do you know that works with there? You being serious?
Alan, deep throat. He can't tell us.
Jared, you're joking, right?
Nope.
I don't think he is.
How would he know?
I don't know. I don't know who he would know that works where I work. I think Jared's full of crap.
We've got a mystery on our hands here.
Jared, you being serious or you joking?
Kyle, you disclosed that to me one time on a late night phone call.
Oh, that I always wear my hat backwards.
Damn it! You let
him off the hook too.
I couldn't keep it
Well,
going.
the only thing I could think of was a big Pirate donor. He doesn't work there, but he's on the board of directors named Danny Rice. So I was like, well, maybe JR's met Danny Rice at some point in time. But besides that, I was like, what? Actually, why did I tell you that, JR?
So you had a late night phone call with JR?
That's happened more than once.
That's kind of sick.
It is sick. But that's happened more than once.
Is that weird? Is that normal to have a
late? When you're both perhaps chemically enhanced.
All my phone calls are late night.
Yeah,
not just with Kyle.
He likes to talk late at night.
Yeah, man.
So do I.
I'm busy during the day.
Me, I stay up late too. So anytime you want to call or text JR, feel free.
All right.
You're going to be chemically. The phone calls are only fun if you've been drinking.
Well, I've got some Red Oak in the fridge. Just
there you go.
Give me some warning.
Why was I telling you I wear my hat backwards at work? What a weird thing to tell you.
Look, I wish you were on the other end of some of your conversations.
Well, Stevie, likewise. I mean, mine and your conversations, we should just record them and release them as podcasts.
I know what it was, Kyle.
What was it?
We were talking about, it was not on this show, and it wasn't a phone call. It was a group text with Matt. And Matt asked me, do you always wear a baseball hat? And I was like, yeah, I have like casual ones. And then I have like dress ones. Like I use my Parker Bird, like purple hat that when I'm going somewhere fancy. And then, cause it's clean, and it's straight and all that. And then but I always wear a hat. And he's like, well, what does your wife think about that? And I was like, she's probably not the biggest fan, but
I'm the same way. I wear a hat all the time.
I'm exaggerating. Obviously I'm exaggerating. I don't always wear a hat. And then you said, well, I always wear a hat to work, but I always wear it backwards. And that stuck with me.
Yeah, I do.
Like
I always wear my hat
JR,
backwards.
You only take your hat off for one thing?
Oh, you Burt Reynolds?
And just take your hat off for one.
Are we down to any listeners, Dave?
We've lost it. Hey, sports related. Montreal Canadiens just beat Tampa Bay.
Whoa!
1-0.
Whoa!
And had the fewest shots on goal in a game in the NHL history. 9 shots on goal.
That's
they
it?
won. They won.
Oh my God! The Canadians won?
Yes.
Oh wow! I was thinking, man, that's why I'm not a betting man. I would have put my money if I were a betting man on Tampa Bay, but man, they've been great lately. Wow! Thank you, Stevie. That's very
breaking news.
So that means that that means if the Hurricanes, I'm so used to saying ECU on our show. That means if the Hurricanes win, they would be potentially playing Montreal. I forgot the other team.
Yeah, Buffalo.
That is the worst fan base that I've ever had to deal with at a Hurricanes game. The Sabres, man. Oh my God, they were getting in fights in the parking lot.
Worse than Philly fans?
They were pretty bad. Yeah.
The
2006 run, they were we had them in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's right. And they were tough to deal with. Thankfully I was not involved in that, but I heard a lot of stories about how the fans were like enticing our fans. The next thing you know, it was fist fights. It was a lot. Surprise, surprise. The reason being, it was from both fan bases, a lot of alcohol involved.
No.
Hey, if everybody had gone to the mall, Kyle could have taken care of them.
Wait a minute.
That's right. That's right.
So you guys
I've thought about that several times since you told that story, man. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm stupid. 601.
My money's on you still, though.
Well, thank you. Other sports related news: the Cubs sweep the Diamondbacks. They just keep rolling.
And the Yankees swept my Orioles.
Yeah. Braves are playing well.
Yes,
we're hitting. Look, I'm telling you, come September, it's gonna be. Might have some Cubs, Braves, National League playoffs there. We'll see.
Oh man,
I don't mind the Cubs, to be honest with you. They have Dansby Swanson, who used to be a Brave.
Cubs are when the Cubs are good.
I don't think anybody hates the Braves except White Sox and Cardinals fans.
When the Cubs are good, it's good for baseball.
Yeah.
White Sox have fans?
A few.
Patrick Mason that was at the Reflector remember he was a big White Sox fan. And as a matter of fact, they got to the point where they lost. Remember that when they lost the most games ever? And the White Sox fans were cheering for the other team because they wanted the record. I'm like, who in the hell would want to have the team that's lost the most games ever in the history of Major League Baseball in one season? But they did. That was kind of weird a few years ago. I don't know if y'all remember that 2 or 3 years ago.
I don't.
I remember something about it.
I have not been keeping up with it closely. Have the Mets turned it around at all?
No. They're in last place.
Yeah.
They are 12 and a half behind the Braves.
Already.
Who have the best record in baseball, 25-10.
Beat the Mets. Step right up and beat the Mets. Because the Mets are red. Okay.
That's one of the best ESPN 30 for 30s, by the way. The on the
86
Mets, yeah.
Yeah,
and then
that
the
was
Doc
a
and
good
Carroll 30 for 30 is good too.
Well, you remember the Cubs. You remember the 69 Miracle Mets. You remember the Cubs were way up on them. Was it 12 games? And they collapsed, and then they called them the Miracle Mets because Tom Seaver and those guys. You remember that?
A rookie, Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, that's right. In 69.
Yep. That was his rookie year.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask this question. That documentary was awesome, by the way, for Nolan Ryan. But who has the best? What player do you think in the history of Major League Baseball, modern era, whenever, is the best fighter? Like when they have those.
Nolan Ryan.
I mean, he to me is.
Yeah.
And he like he
I
was
wouldn't mess with him.
Robin Ventura found out
that
the
was
hard
great.
way.
Everybody loved that moment.
Yes,
Yeah.
Robin Ventura got
Yeah, I brought
he
it up.
got blasted
Yep.
You can't think of a
the
player.
old-fashioned way too.
You see like guys like pushing a little bit, hitting a little bit. That son of a gun, he won't play in. No,
Well, actually, if you look back at that, you know, it was great in the moment because it was Rhino's last season, or not Rhino, but Nolan Ryan's last season, and Ventura storms the mound, and Nolan puts him in the headlock, and he actually starts punching him on top of the head.
Yeah.
That is not a good spot to punch somebody.
No,
You're going to
it's the
hurt your
hardest part of
hand.
the head.
Exactly. So it was actually not good execution, but it looked good.
Yeah, it looked really good. He
Yeah.
was winding him up too.
Yeah.
Ventura didn't know what he got into.
Yeah.
Yep. He literally didn't know what hit him.
Nope.
no doubt.
For sure.
So, any
I think
wrestling?
Nolan Ryan also. I think he threw he threw 235 pitches in one game. I know that sounds impossible, but I'm pretty
Good
sure I'm
Lord.
right on that.
Well, back
Yeah.
then they went 9 innings. A lot of them pitchers. I can see that happening. It sounds crazy for
It
us.
was
but
against the Angels. No,
What?
he was playing for the Angels. It was against the Red Sox.
Doesn't at one time didn't he have the fastest ball ever clocked in Major League Baseball history? Like
I believe so.
like 109 or some crap like that. It was.
he was a
Right.
freak, man.
Yeah. He was freaking nature.
Okay, hold on. I just looked it up. 13 inning game. He went the whole game,
Good
235. And yeah.
I bet that arm was
That
like
is- he
jello.
struck out 19 batters.
Wow.
I talked to a guy.
Did they win?
Yes, they beat the Red Sox 4-3. And the next closest to his 235, the next closest is 149.
So did he do
By
that with the
Edwin
Rangers
Jackson.
or the Angels?
He said Angels.
The Angels.
Okay.
Yeah. I talked to a guy this week. He's an umpire for high school baseball, softball.
Oh, Justin.
And huh?
Justin?
No, not Wildfire. He umpired a game where girls struck out 21 batters and lost the game 7-0.
Wow.
Christ.
I was like, how? He said, well, she'd strike out a girl, the catcher would drop the ball, and then when the runner go to first, she'd overthrow the first baseman. It happened several times.
Yeah, my dad lost a no-hitter in high school because the catcher couldn't catch a knuckleball.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
That for sure.
So you said something about wrestling, Dave?
Yeah. Do y'all have any wrestling news for me?
There's a lot of releases in the WWE.
Yeah.
New Day.
New Day is gone.
The New Day's gone.
New
New
Day's
Day's
gone.
gone. New Day's gone. So Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, they'll probably be in AEW as soon as their no competes up. So you also had Tama Tonga and Longa Longa and Pingy Pingy, or two of the Samoan bloodline were released.
Surprisingly.
So
Nikki Cross.
The whole White Six.
Yeah, the Motor City Machine Guns. There's quite a bit of talent out there for AEW and TNA and NWA Power to pick and choose from. NWA Power made their national television debut this past
With
weekend.
a bang.
Boy, was it! Oh, good God! You know, me and Stevie were sitting there watching that crap on Comet. Which
gosh.
everybody has Comet and they don't realize it. It's on my Sinclair, but you know, in 19 when NWA Power became a thing, they had a great lineup, had Cornette on commentary, and now that they're on national TV, even if it is Comet, they really are lacking star power. The announce crew sucks. You know, their world champion is the Thrillbilly. So great name. I told Stevie I was going to start going by the Thrillbilly.
Oh, let's hear it for the three.
Yeah, which by the way, that was why I referenced. So literally, that had nothing to do with Footloose at all. And I said I was going to start going by the Thrillbilly. And at the exact same time, me and Stevie break out into "Let's hear it for the Thrillbilly," and for no reason at all. It was fun. You had to be there. I guess you just had to be there.
You had to be there.
I just wonder what Tony Khan's payroll is. The dollar amount for Tony.
Jesus Christ.
For Tony's payroll. Incredible.
A lot. I would, he has too many people signed to his roster. And he's gonna sign more. He needs to release some people. I do think if I were him, I would sign the New Day, and I would sign the Machine Guns. I would sign Motor City Machine Guns and the New Day. I think you could have a good tag division in AEW. You already got FTR, so I would sign those two tag teams. I don't know if I would sign the White Six or anything like that, but I do think I would sign the Motor City Machine Guns and New Day. He's going to sign the New Day.
I learned something tonight. I did not know about Comet. That's the first time I ever heard of Comet TV.
Yeah, you have it. I guarantee you have it. If you don't have it, you can get it over the air. I think it's 12.2 or 12.3.
You're correct, sir. I just looked at it.
And I got it on that. Plus, I got it on Hulu. Most people have it, don't realize it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube TV for sure.
It's on Hulu. I mean, it's available like in 85% of homes in America. So NWA Power is on legitimate national TV now. Just it's a channel nobody watches.
So is True TV done? Does anybody else know that?
I have no idea.
True TV on my Optimum says it's no longer. This channel is no longer available.
I'll check. I don't know.
And the problem with that is they do a lot of the NCAA tournament.
Well, they'll find a home for it. Don't worry about it.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
I got some interesting sports news. I shared it with y'all. None of y'all commented on it, but the CW, their sports programming is now going to be available through the ESPN app, which is kind of interesting.
I saw that.
So you're going to have the Pac-12 of the Mountain West, which, I don't know about the Mountain West, but I know the Pac-12 doesn't have any deal with ESPN. So the CW now, their streaming home is going to be the ESPN app, ESPN Unlimited.
That's
good for the Pac-12 because it gives them an ESPN platform, and the same with the Mountain West. But I don't know if the Mountain West has a separate deal with ESPN or not.
I have to say that ESPN is very smart because they have wrestling now with WWE. They have what else? With obviously the normal sports we talk about all the time. But then they have with the app now, they have cornhole and
pillow fighting.
The back with Alan and Johnny, I know for sure, and Stevie too also. But when they came on in 1979, it was cool because they had badminton and things you would never ever see with sports because they needed to fill the programming. And I kind of feel like now it's kind of like Back to the Future.
You know what I used to like to watch? It wasn't on ESPN. It used to be on TNN. JR's the motorsports guy. What's those, Alan? Dave, you like motorsports?
Yeah.
But you know what used to come on TNN that I haven't seen anywhere? I don't know if it still exists that I used to like to watch.
What's that?
I'm waiting for somebody to guess. Take a guess.
They had fishing. I remember the weekends they had fishing.
Field dance outdoors.
No, it's a motorsport. I just made it very clear. It's motorsport.
Well, his bass boat has an Evinrude.
He's got a motor on the boat, man.
Boy, you guys are closer than you realize.
True TV's still around, Alan.
Boat racing.
Not boat racing. Did anybody ever watch Swamp Buggy racing?
Oh, okay.
With Bobby Boucher's mama?
No, it was a real thing. It was kind of, I can't even describe it. You just have to look it up.
You mean the airboats with the huge fan? Or you're talking about four-wheeled swamp buggies?
Yeah, they used to drag race each other. They used to drag race.
Point me in that direction, though, and I will watch it.
Yeah, it used to come on in the 90s on TNN. It would be these, swamp buggies. They would drag race through the swamp. They would be like a land water combination. And it was, came on TNN in the late 90s on TNN Motorsports. And I haven't seen it in years. I don't know if it still exists. To be sure it does.
Well, Alan,
some of them came out on the other side and some of them got stuck in the bog in the swamp.
Yes, that sounds right. It's been so many years since I watched it, JR, but I remember and I'll tell you the stupidest motorsports thing I ever saw in my life. I saw in Williamston. At the Bob Martin Ag Center, there was an experimental sport. I remember making the conscious decision. The Optimus Powell Band was playing at Deadwood, and I remember, I don't want to go see Optimus Powell Band at Deadwood. Let's go see this ski boat tractor pull. They took a big like I don't know how to describe it. Like the biggest indoor pool, like it was like a big water tank, and they put it in the middle of the Bob Martin Ag Center, and they had jet skis drag race each other, and then they had jet skis pulling like like a tractor pull, so you could have the fastest time in this big huge pool in the middle of the Bob Martin Ag Center. And it sounds cool, but believe me, it was effing horrible.
No, it sounds like something you're making up because I can't.
I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to God.
That's how bad it was.
I swear to God.
One of the greatest comedy albums ever. Reverend Billy C. Wirtz's Backsliders Tractor Pull.
The Reverend Billy C. Wirtz.
The Backsliders Tractor Pull.
Have you ever been to a lawnmower race?
I have not, but I'm familiar.
The lawnmower races, Alan, you and I could do commentary on that. The lawnmower race.
Yeah,
George Jones would win that amongst celebrities. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
How about
he wouldn't.
You remember well, he doesn't.
He wins it now. We're in trouble.
Vince Gill, remember when one more last chance, and there's George Jones.
Yeah.
That was a classic. That's one of my favorite videos.
Yep. Jones called him Sweet Pea.
Yep.
Yeah. And he told, speaking of Vince Gill, he told a story. It was one of the reels. It was hilarious. He said, "Sweet Pea." He said, "Do you like ravioli?" I forgot the way he pronounced it. He couldn't pronounce ravioli. And he's like, "Well, yeah." He said, "Well, come back to my bus and I'm gonna give you some of that." So, and Vince Gill did.
Hannah Chef Boyardee.
No, that's what's even. It was worse than Chef Boyardee. So here's Vince Gill. He thought there was like some kind of like it's George Jones. It's going to be gourmet, right? Gourmet ravioli. And he gets there. He says, "Sweet Pea, you ready for that ravioli?" Or the way I can't do it, but so come to find out, it was like it was the worst ravioli. And he's like, "What do you think, Sweet Pea?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, this is great." He said about a month later that George Jones sent a whole case of that stuff, the ravioli, to his house. But yeah,
It was probably Chef Boyardee and Vince Gill just sent
no,
one the brand
no,
out
he
there.
said it wasn't. He said it was. It was some kind of off-brand that George loved.
I recently heard of Vince Gill's story I'd never heard and did not know anything about. That Vince Gill was offered a position in Dire Straits.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
and he turned down the gig. He said he bet on himself, and he said literally after.
You know what he said?
Yeah,
you're going to tell us.
No, he said, "Look at them yo-yos."
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one more last
play
chance.
the guitar on the MTV.
Yeah,
that's the way you do it.
But he said, "I'm going to make it on CMT." Okay, I go. I guess.
Yeah, he said that it wasn't too long after that. He said, "I'm going to bet on myself," even though that was a sure thing, and he could have made a lot of money. And not too long after that is when the song "When I Call Your Name" came out.
Well, Vince had some hits in 85, 86.
Oh, he had some great shit in the 80s. Cinderella may be my favorite Vince Gill song.
I know about he's talking about in other words where.
No, yeah. What I'm saying is that was before When I Call Your Name and all that.
Way before.
I like one called The Radio. That's a good song.
And, he was in Pure Prairie.
Wait. The Radio?
When he was on RCA. When Vince Gill had a song called
the song I'm thinking of is not by Vince Gill though.
What?
I heard it all through my radio.
You said no. It's a song called Vince Gill when he was on RCA in 85 or 86 called The Radio.
How did it go?
I can't sing. I can't sing that high, but look it up.
Okay.
It was a set with Cinderella. If it weren't for him, with Roseanne Cash. Let's Do Something. It was around that time period.
She's just tired of being Cinderella.
Yeah, he had 5 or 6 hits on RCA before he signed with MCA. And
Everybody's Sweetheart But Mine.
Everybody's Sweetheart was an RCA.
He did,
yeah.
He did the
I got blah 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 beep blah blah. I have on cassette. I bought it in the mid-90s. The RCA released it after the in the midst of the MCA year. I got Vince Gill, the Essential RCA collection, and it is fantastic. I love his stuff on RCA.
Yep. He had that was that was basically, it was 84 to 89, and then he signed with MCA and exploded. But
yeah, that he did the version with Dolly that went to #1. I'll Always Love You.
yeah, that was much later though.
Yeah,
That was in the 90s.
That was 90s.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, that was
yes.
in the 90s.
Okay, I'm going to
Okay.
cross that one off my
Yeah.
contest list.
That's right. So 70, she had it #1. So her version in the 70s.
It was after Whitney Houston's version. It
She
was
cut-
like-
she
Yeah,
cut-
it was on his greatest hits album, on it, Souvenirs.
She went to
It-
#1 in 74. She cut it again for the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas in 82. It was a hit at that point. Then Whitney did it in 92 for The Bodyguard.
Yeah,
91.
And then it was a hit again for Vince and Dolly. So
And that
about
came from them performing it live together on the Grand Ole Opry, and
Mhm.
then he recorded it, I think, on his greatest hits album, like Stevie said.
Right.
But what song am I thinking of, Alan? I can't even think of who it's by.
Well, Don Williams did "Listen to the Radio."
No. Wait a minute. I'll tell you. I heard it all through my radio. He talks about listening to baseball games and listening to
Lionel
the
Cartwright. I watched it
Lionel
all on my
Cartwright.
radio.
Thank
Lionel,
you.
Lionel Cartwright.
Very underrated artist, by the way.
Lionel Cartwright.
Bow to your partner, your corner too.
Mhm.
There you go, Johnny. Johnny's gonna be up all night doing.
Be my angel. Lionel Cartwright. Tons of great songs from like 88 to 92, and then he just disappeared.
He was on MCA.
Yep. He was also on TNN. TNN had some crappy ass sitcom based around a fictitious country artist, and Lionel Cartwright played that artist. It was when TNN first came on the air in the mid to late 80s. I cannot remember the name of the show though.
Yep. I remember. I do remember that. I can't remember the name of the show either.
I liked Fandango and You Can Be a Star. You remember Fandango was
when TNN first came on. They had Bobby Bear and Friends, which was great. They had Yesteryear in Nashville with Archie Campbell, which was great. That was two really good talk shows.
Nashville Now.
Nashville Now came along. That was really the catalyst.
You Can Be a Star.
Mm-hmm.
When they started, you remember that? They didn't
remember the American Music Shop?
No.
The American was in the 90s. It was in the
on
late
TNN?
80s. Yeah, the American Music Shop.
On TNN.
It was a concert series called the American Music Shop.
Do not remember that at all.
Yeah, and it was good. It was look it up. It's all over YouTube. Everybody who was anybody was on it.
On TNN?
Yeah, the American Music Shop. Yes. Mark O'Connor was part of the house band.
Oh, wow.
On that show, the fiddle player.
I do not remember that.
Wow.
Hey, Alan,
Did
just
he
to
come
get
on Saturday night?
Go ahead, Kyle.
Did he come on Saturday night by chance?
I think so. I think it was
Okay.
no. I think it was a weeknight thing. Now that I think about it, but I mean, you'll find them all over YouTube. The American Music Shop.
Okay, I'll look it up.
TNN. Do you remember, Alan? Guys, do you remember when TNN, when it first started in the early '80s, it came on the air at 6 o'clock at night?
It was 83 when it first came on.
They shared in Durham. They shared a channel. The CBS had a. Do you remember when CBS first had a network way back in the early '80s? So basically, what they did is they had CBS on half the day, and then at 6 o'clock at night, TNN came on at like nighttime. Same thing with Home Team Sports. You couldn't get Home Team Sports when it first started. It didn't come on the air until like 6 o'clock at night.
Oh,
anybody
I remember that.
remember Ralph Emery doing a morning show in the mid '90s on TNN? It didn't last very long. But
I do remember that.
It was from the Opryland Hotel.
I do remember that. And then the original Crook and Chase show was in the morning.
Yeah.
And then it took the night spot after Ralph Emery quit doing Nashville Now. And
Gary Chapman did.
Yeah, then Gary Chapman took their spot. Yep, after Crook and Chase.
You remember he was married to Amy Grant.
Amy Grant,
Yep. And he wrote Finally.
Tom Wopat hosted
big
that
hit for
briefly.
Gigi Shepherd.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Wopat hosted that show briefly.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he did.
Man, I had forgotten all about that.
Yep.
Gary Chapman, as an artist, had a couple singles that charted with RCA in the mid '80s. One was called "Everyday Man." I can't remember what the second one was.
Yeah, he did. How many years did he do that show?
It went from, if I remember right, the lineage went after Crooked Chase left, Wopat did it briefly, and then Gary Chapman took it over from Wopat.
Like in the late 90s,
Yeah, like no, I would say like 90. If you put a gun to my head, I would say like 96 or 97 to 2000.
Because I met him at the Michael Jordan Golf Classic, and that was like 1998, and he was doing the show then. I remember
He was a really nice guy.
Yes, he was.
And I was
Very
hoping
nice.
he was better at it than Wopat. And I remember like I want to think Wopat might have done it on an interim basis. Maybe it was just after Crooked Chase. I don't know. I guess Crooked Chase had a falling out with TNN. I don't know what happened there, but Wopat took it over, and then Gary Chapman. And I remember
And it was called Primetime Country.
Yes.
Gary
That's
Chapman.
right.
It was called that also when Wopat took it over.
Yep.
But I remember Wopat doing it, and it was called that when Crooked Chase did it too. It was Primetime Country with Crooked Chase, and then Tom Wopat took it over, and then Gary Chapman took it over from Wopat. And I remember being pissed at first because obviously it's Luke Duke, but he was better at it than Tom Wopat.
Tom Wopat's one of those celebrities I did not have a good experience with.
Really?
I could see that.
He came to Pitt Community College on a Saturday, and I went, and I went to see him, and we were just, chatting, and I was trying not to be fanboy, but we were just had a few minutes, and Tom Wopat had a good amount of success as an artist in the mid to late 80s and the very early 90s as a singer. He was on Capitol EMI Records and had a couple of top 15, top 20 tunes, and I mentioned them to him, and he had no interest at all in discussing that. So anyway,
Snyder seemed to really care more about his music career than
that's correct.
Look at Snyder, man. He turned out to be a great interpreter of songs. Remember, his first hit was the Elvis tune "It's Now or Never," but when he signed with MCA in the early 80s, I've been around long enough to know, and then that started it all. He had a lot of hit songs.
No,
yes, he did.
He was a hit making machine from about 84 to about 90 or 91, somewhere in there.
I interviewed him. He did a show. I can't remember what network, but it was like it did not last. I was trying to remember what network it was on, but it was like stuntmen doing like jumps, kind of like it made sense why he was doing it. It did not last, but he was very cool to me. So really nice guy.
Yeah. Wopat's a good singer too, but he was he just, for whatever reason, he just didn't have the stage presence.
I think that and to be fair to him, he seems, every time I've seen him, he seems to be very shy. Was he?
Well, I don't know. I mean, again, he wasn't rude to me, but I mean, this is what we were doing. He was sitting there with a sandwich, and we were just I was sitting around him when he was waiting to do something. I was just making small talk until I had to get, I emceed part of the event, and I'm just making small talk. And I mentioned his, success in country music and a couple of the songs, and he just had no interest in engaging me in that. So I was like, okay.
Goodbye now.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a long day, whatever, but he was not overly friendly. The worst celebrity interview experience I ever had was Vern Gosden.
Oh wow, really?
He was terrible. All he wanted to talk about, he had just quit smoking at that time, and that's all he wanted to talk about.
Well, that's what was on his mind.
Do you smoke? No, sir, I don't. Well, don't ever start. And well, Vern, tell me about signing with Ovation Records and blah 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 blah. Well, Alan, do you smoke? No, Vern, I don't.
I have my two worst interviews I've ever done. Robert Coolbell, God rest his soul, he's passed away from Kool and the Gang. He was one of the nicest guys that you ever meet. He was one of those guys that was like he was painfully shy. And they get him to do the interview of a local. It was Raleigh or somewhere that they were doing the Kool and the Gang, and so I'm in Wilson, and Alan used to work at the station before I did, but he literally gave me one word answers. Yes.
Oh, that's the fucking worst.
Oh, I can't stand that.
Yeah,
Nice.
the
said-
best celebrity interview I ever had, and you guys are going to laugh, but he was absolutely fabulously wonderful and nice, was Bobby Goldsboro.
Oh man, honey.
He was tremendous. He was tremendous.
And the other one I've told you, I don't know if I've told Kyle, but the other celebrity, the worst interview I've ever done. He was very nice to me, but he gave me nothing to use on the air. Was Damon Wilson, Lamont from Sanford and Son. That is like my favorite.
Yeah, I've heard he's kind of a. I've heard he's kind of a jerk.
He talked
Not
about
anymore.
Yes, not anymore.
Masons and like he was out to lunch, bro. He said, I hope I gave you something to use. I said, hey,
Yeah.
and you know what I said? This is the way I handled it. I said, it was just an honor to talk to you. He said, thank you, brother. And I hung up the phone. I'm like, well, I won't be able
Big dummy.
yeah. I won't be able to get that 15 minutes back because what I would do is I would have like a long form interview and I would literally cut it down to like 3 minutes and a minute and a half.
We've had some guests on the show over the years. I don't really know that I want to name names because some of them are former Pirates.
Yeah.
Just make you wonder about yourself now if you've been interviewed by us that were just god awful. There's a couple that stand out, and I won't name the names because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But there was one in particular that I was really,
like people, if we said the person's name, it was a major star. And
yes, that was just.
I know exactly where you're going.
God awful.
Tell me about the 96 game.
Oh, dude, now you're going to give it away. Hush.
Oh, never mind.
Hush. So, but you're right.
Roddy Piper was very nice.
Yeah.
Really?
He was a good interview.
He's a guy that was really. I remember like we had like growing up HBO or Cinemax or something growing up, and what I was trying to think of that movie. What was the first movie that he really did?
Well, the first movie he did was Hell Comes to Frogtown, which was terrible. But They Live was the movie that biggest.
That wasn't his first successful movie. His first successful movie was Body Slam.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's when he left the WWF and came back as a face. He was filming Body Slam.
Body Slam came out before They Live.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Roddy was a heel after WrestleMania 2, and then he took a break to film Body Slam. And when he came back,
in '83, where They Live. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I got
when he came back in '86,
I thought you were talking about his babyface return in '90. You're talking about his brief stint where he left and came back as a babyface.
Yeah, he left in '86 after boxing Mr. T in WrestleMania 2, and then came back as a babyface in maybe August of '86.
Yeah, because
he needed people to go watch Adrian Adonis was his
right.
Oh yeah,
right.
Because Adrian took over the Piper's Pit while he wasn't there and made it the
flower
beauty shop.
Right.
The flower shop. Yes,
right.
And
one of my favorite Roddy things is when he beat up Bobby Heenan because Bobby Heenan was talking junk about Santa Claus.
Oh well, he doesn't beat him up, but he cuts it's a fantastic promo.
Yeah, well, he got some licks in on Heenan on the desk.
Yeah, the promo though is what stands out to me. If you listen to that promo, it is really good. His promo about how Santa Claus is real.
Yeah,
and it sounds so goofy. But if you listen to that promo, it's a very emotional promo, and he's coming from the heart with it, and he's talking about the spirit of Christmas and basically how your mom and dad bust their ass to give you your kids. But it's a great promo. I love that promo actually.
Yeah, that came into the Rick Rude feud. That's how that got started because Heenan was managing Rick Rude at the time.
I tell you what, Bobby Heenan. There's a lot of reels that I don't know if you guys have seen them, but just him talking, and I don't know who was interviewing, but he is, to me, I'll ask you guys, but I'm going to go with the best announcing crew of all time is Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan.
They're up there in my top 2 or 3.
I absolutely love Bob Caudle. I could start naming other guys.
You're talking about not individual announcers, but just the crew, just the 2-man crew or 3-man crew. I'm probably going to go Jim Ross, Jerry Lawler.
They're up there.
But Heenan, Gorilla were good. Gorilla Ventura was good. Ventura, McMahon were good together, even though McMahon's terrible at play-by-play. So if we're just talking,
Heenan and
Okerlund.
Monsoon together when Michaels turned on Janetti and Heenan said Janetti
Yep.
tried to dive through that glass door.
Yes.
I knew he was going to do that.
Yeah. He's a coward.
Yeah, he's going to do.
Bobby would, to me, having Gorilla was more the straight man, and you have Bobby, there was comic relief. The two of them were like really good friends, and I just love their chemistry. I
thought Ventura was good with Gorilla too.
Yeah,
he was.
And people don't remember Heenan was very good in the ring as well. He was a great bump taker.
No, he was a wrestler before he was a manager.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Heenan.
But I mean, even as a manager, that Ken Patera bump that he took on the. Oh my God.
Patera put him or had him latch around the neck and just slung him, and he went back. Yeah, he ended up on a neck brace shortly after that. That
Guys,
must have been.
For some reason, my phone is not charging and it's about to die, and my volume just went way down. So I'm gonna have to get off of here and charge my phone and put it on a different charger. So good night and go Pirates.
All right, good night, Kyle.
Good night, Kyle.
Love you, man.
That's the classiest way I've ever seen anybody. I don't want to talk to you guys anymore. Got to go.
Yep.
Yeah. JR, do you do that?
JR fell asleep.
Hello, JR.
No, I didn't fall asleep, but I'm doing other things. Yeah.
We bored him to sleep.
I was gonna, yeah. Now y'all were quite involved in that conversation. I wasn't gonna try to give any, input there.
That's
no,
a nice
I had a few things to say, but y'all.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was doing something else. I'm working on work stuff right now, but I'm listening to y'all. So.
Well, Kyle wears his hat backwards at work.
He sure does.
I never would have known that if not for you.
That is sick.
So we're gonna talk junk.
JR is Doc Wonder Kid.
All right, so we're about
to start talking junk and see how fast he charges his phone and comes back on.
Yeah, that no good. Sorry, SOB. What do you think? Oh, I do have a question for you guys. Have you guys been watching the UFL any?
Yes.
I'm more of a casual fan, but I do.
Yeah, a little bit. I saw Najee got a bad injury out for the year.
Yeah, I watched the Louisville Kings. Just I'm interested because of Logan, obviously.
Yeah, I'm pulling for the DC Renegades. They're 5-1.
You got to pull for the Louisville Kings, though. I'm with you on that, Alan.
I'm not going to be against them. I think it's great for Logan. I'll pull for Louisville as well. I just
plus they have Winstead.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you sure do. Isaiah Winstead. The game I watched, he was doing very well.
I wish they would have. I still am bitter about. I still think they should have kept the USFL. The name of the league to be USFL.
I agree.
I was watching something the other night. I'd totally forgotten, guys. Billy Sims in 1983.
Oh wow!
I had totally forgotten that the big controversy that he signed a contract with the Houston Gamblers. And then signed a contract, an extension with Detroit.
Yeah.
And that was a big, I had totally forgotten that, completely forgotten that happened.
I would love to go back to that time when the USFL was first coming in and have the technology we got now with all the, who was going to be signing where. Good Lord.
Yep. Yep.
If they had not tried to go, if they had stayed at Spring League, it would. It would have. I'm sorry, but it would have made it. I really.
That's the first time I ever heard the name Donald Trump was because of the New Jersey.
The New Jersey Generals.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he was the one pushing the fall football pretty hard. So I mean, he made a tremendous mistake there, I think.
In the lawsuit.
Yeah. But it was very entertaining. I thought the USFL. For the first, couple of, who was it? The Philadelphia Stars that won the first couple of.
Yeah, with the Kelvin Bryant from Tarboro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who played for the Redskins for 8
Yeah.
Yep.
They
I
had,
wonder how many have won a USFL championship and won the Super Bowl.
Kelvin.
Oh, that's
Kelvin's one of them.
Steve
Yeah.
Young. Steve Young played for the
Steve Young.
Express and the
Did
49ers.
Did they win?
yeah. He played.
They win in the USFL.
Yes, yes, he did. There's a lot of guys like Herschel
thought
Walker.
Michigan and Baltimore. Well, it was Philadelphia at first, and they moved to Baltimore. I thought they were the only two that won was Michigan.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying Steve Young. I have no idea. Jim Kelly, he never won a Super Bowl, but he was also.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They won a USFL championship and a Super Bowl.
Yep. Jim Kelly came. Did Jim Kelly come close?
I don't know how far they they did.
Herschel Walker didn't do it. Reggie White didn't do it.
But there was
anybody that was on the Michigan and Philly and Baltimore Stars team.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. They had one thing about it. They had a lot of talent, and they had money to compete. If they had stayed,
oh yeah,
they should have stayed in their own league. And those of us that love football
got greedy.
Yes, they did.
There was too many teams to begin with. That was a problem too. They tried to expand too fast.
That's true. Yeah. Have you seen that? There's a great 30 for 30, by the way.
Yes. Yes.
Great one. Have you seen it, Johnny?
30 for 30 on the USFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not. I did just
watch. Yeah.
That is one of the best things we've ever done, I think, because I was really into that league because I loved the NFL. But then after, that back then it was like late January, that last Sunday, and then you have no football. And you have the Pro Bowl, but you know what I mean. Speaking of no football, no, I'm kidding. But after that, it's like, wow, you have to wait all that from February all the way to July before the preseason. And
they had a contract with ABC.
Yeah, they were always on ABC.
Yeah,
yeah, that's big time back then for a startup league to have a network contract like that.
They had but it is what it is. Anyway, are you guys about ready to get out of here? We're the 2 hour.
Yeah. But Stevie, you were correct. Michigan, Philadelphia, and Baltimore are the only teams that won.
Yeah, because I knew it was only three years they were around.
Yeah.
But that USFL stuff has become, like big time on the internet. People buy a lot of that merch.
Oh yeah, good Lord, yeah.
Yeah.
They had some cool, and they had great. You're right, Alan. If they had. I think that's a textbook definition of making sure that you don't expand too fast, because if they had stayed spring and then gradually added teams, they probably would be still around and be great, but you'll never know.
Yeah. I think they would have become like a feeder league for the NFL probably at some point.
Yes. No question about it. All right. So Pirates will be back. Congratulations to Kendall. So we won't have, we definitely understand doing daddy duties. Congratulations to her, Alan.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to miss you guys, but but we'll not going to be back in time, but I'm sure that you guys will carry on as you always do without me.
Well, if we ever get Stevie out of the control center there, master control, we might be able to do a show.
He's the master in Lasker.
The master black.
Exactly.
Master in Alaska.
And JR, you're going to be down with us this week, and you're going to be down with us in Greenville, right?
I won't be there. I can't leave till Friday, so it's going to have to be, like I say, eastbound and down, loading up and trucking, because I'm going to have to there's no way I can make it down there and do the speed limit. That's out of the question. So I'll be there. Put it that way. I will be there, hopefully by first pitch.
All right. Well, we have the Pirates. The Pirates have obviously Rice, and we also have the American softball tournament going on at the same time. So that's going to be fun.
I'm going to stay for the Campbell game if things go well against Rice. I'm going to stay for the Campbell game. I had a choice of either going early and watching some softball or going later and watching Campbell. I went for the baseball because I have faith that they're going to take care of business against the Owls.
The history would tell us this season that they're going to play out of their mind this week.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
You're right.
If things don't go well for Rice, Wayne Graham will walk to the mound. It'll take him 20 minutes to get there, but he'll get there.
It's kind of like the Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You could take.
Dave.
Yeah,
Dave's not here.
Wayne Graham's the only guy I can walk faster than.
Now that was funny. I don't care who you are. All right, we'll get out of here, guys. Thank you so much. You definitely cheered me up because I was like, man, this is going to be rough. And like I said earlier to you guys, the only thing keeping me from not doing the show is the fact that you guys are a lot of fun to be with. And thanks to all the listeners and viewers. They, managed to stay here and for about another extra hour. I know we have some guys ladies that don't listen to the non-baseball stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
I got a text to that effect, Dave, but my answer was, well, tell me what else you want us to cover. And
we'll talk about anything. It's just how much baseball can you? Once you cover it.
I could have gone into like the teams that are positioned to be at large bids and who we want to lose and who we want to win, but I just didn't. I didn't go there, but maybe I should have. But maybe on Thursday we'll do that.
Yeah, that would be really good subject matter. Really,
so you know who to root against and who you want to win, who you want to who you want to lose, and because right now every game it's a cliche. Literally every game matters, even games that we're not playing. It's like it's so crazy. But
it's going to be wild to see who the two teams are that don't go to Clearwater.
Yeah, that's even another. Usually, you would be able to say, oh, it's definitely this team or that team, but those two slots are still people are fighting for their baseball lives, as they would say. So
yeah, and the coaches, especially South Florida and Tulane, if they don't make it, I have to think. Mitch Hanna's is brand new and he's done well, but this year, I don't know that they've had a lot of injuries, but they're just pathetic. And Tulane, they haven't really. They have a losing record since his name escapes me, but their coach has taken over. They've won the tournament a couple of times, but they have a losing record overall. I just don't know how much longer Tulane's going to put up with that. I don't know. We'll see.
We will. All right, guys. Thank you, Stevie. I know you got to get up early, my friend. Thank you for staying with us, brother.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Y'all have a great week. We'll see you back. We'll see Alan back on Sunday. But in the meantime, I'll be seeing you guys, Johnny, and you in the parking lot.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Until next time, if it's Sunday night, it's going to be TSO Extra Innings. Good night, everybody, and go Pirates.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.